Yesterday was very cool because we did a masterclass on emotional validation, um, which was a really great experience because not only the idea was I put on the masterclass with in exchange for if you wanted to attend, all you really had to do was make a donation to a charity bike ride that I'm riding in July. And I would be happy. Then you could attend the class. So it was such a win-win situation because, I mean, it taught the people who attended a valuable skill. It raised money for charity, which is amazing. And it helped me hone my message, which is, and improve my own skills in delivering content. And I thought it went really well. We raised over $1,000 for charity. I might have already said that. And it was just great. But these experiences are always interesting because I have these expectations going into them. I notice, like, one of them is how many people are going to attend. So a bunch of people donated, and we had about 18, 19 people on the call at one point. And I don't know, I was hoping for more, and I don't know why. Like, it's just something that I get wrapped up in, it's like a quantifiable thing, right? The more people who attend are more, it's more, I sometimes think about it as a reflection on me and the value I can bring, which, in some ways, obviously that's true, right? I mean, if I had 50 people on the call, there would have been more people who believed in the value I could have added, I guess, or that's how I look at it anyways. And so, but I never let that stop me, which I think is really important. And I think I need to think about, like, and I know that, I'll never stop continuing to plug away and keep pushing and keep delivering value. And so, it's just one of those things where I get hung up on this idea. By the way, it's 4:30 in the morning right now. So if I sound like my voice is like I've been smoking for about, 15 cigarettes in a row, I have not. It's just that I have a husky voice. So anyways, regardless, I was really pleased with how the webinar went. And, it just feels good to be able to deliver that kind of value. So, and just to be able to make a contribution, right? So I think that's really important. I'm noticing that something that's happening at work that's really interesting is my struggle with, I don't know if it's a struggle, but I'm so fundamentally uninterested in technology. So well, maybe I shouldn't say that I'm not interested in technology. I mean, I am interested in technology to a certain point of view, but I find that with my life, as I get older and my life is changing and my values are changing, one thing I notice is that I want to continue to simplify my life, which means less material possessions, less technology in my life in the sense of, devices and stuff like that. And so when I look at work, I sometimes feel I don't want to say conflicted because that's too strong a word, but it's interesting, I guess, that what I love more than anything else is people. I love talking to people and connecting with people, and it's a really amazing thing. And but I lead a couple of technology teams, and so I always try to think of it as, honestly, the technology that we're building. I'm pretty fortunate to be able to, work with some technologies that can really improve people's lives by freeing them up to, getting away from a lot of the mundane tasks they have to do and really creating an opportunity for them to use more of their own amazing talents and creativity in the organization. But I mean, fundamentally, that's not what lights me up. The idea of budgets and, managing budgets, which I've done for a while now, but, I don't enjoy that at all. And I don't enjoy, setting up all these processes and stuff, again, which I've done a bunch of times, but it just doesn't really do much for me. It's not what I'm passionate about at all. So what I hope to do is for the duration of my time with this organization, I want to move into more of a coaching role. So I'm going to talk to my boss about that today. And I don't know what that would look like or whatever. I'm just going to have a conversation because it's something that's totally kind of foreign to the organization, but I feel like it's an area where they may move. And so I think if I just continue to create the kind of connections and show people the power of, human connection and what relationships, like how powerful relationships can be. Not that I'm the only one that knows this. I mean, obviously, but in my neck of the woods, I would say I'm becoming a leading voice in helping people, teach them that and teach them some of the emotional skills like emotional validation that helps them be more effective. So I don't know really where I was going with that, but I'll give you an example of something that happened yesterday that I really felt great about. So I did a couple of interviews yesterday. And what was so interesting about it was the way I do interviews is I just look at it as more of a conversation because I want to hire for character and team fit and, a lot of those intangibles while also having, obviously hiring for technical skills as well. But I feel honestly, technical skills can be taught. And when you bring in a new team member, I would so much more care about bringing in the right person, someone that's authentic and shares our values and is committed to doing better and all of that kind of stuff. And so what I feel like as a leader is that my job is to, as an interviewer. So here's what I used to do in the past. Okay. What I used to do in the past was I would interview people and I would try to intimidate them in some ways, and not be by me mean, but just by my general demeanor, kind of aloof and, I felt like I was grilling them. I would want to ask them questions. Like I prided myself on coming up with questions that they wouldn't know the answer to, like really, not off the wall questions, but just unconventional questions. And, it's hard for it can be very challenging for somebody to answer some kind of question they totally weren't expecting in the moment. And, okay, you can use that as an example to say, how quickly can you think on your feet? However, I've changed and I feel like there's a better way to do it. And what I do now is I focus on bringing my total presence and my best authentic self into that interview because I know, and I take a lot of time. Like I always allocate 2 hours for an interview because I know through coaching that a lot of amazing things can happen in 2 hours. And I let the conversation just range wherever it ranges. But because I know that if I bring my best authentic self and I'm open and I'm, non-judgmental and I create an environment of safety, that's how I am going to find out if the person I'm talking to is the right fit. Because if I can help make them feel safe through my own words and actions and the energy I'm bringing to the conversation, if I can make them feel safe to be themselves, they're going to be themselves, right? And so what ended up happening yesterday was a wonderful example of that, where it's, something it takes a while to kind of get into it and get warmed up a little bit. So I just asked a ton of questions and we covered everything, man, from obviously some work experience, and we ended up getting into his wife and her illness and her past, and the fact that she had been suicidal at one point and his reaction to it, and how, when we're in that situation, we talked about emotional intelligence. We talked quite a bit about how when you're in a situation, like his wife is in, kind of similar to one where I was in with Cindy, which is like when you don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. She's been sick for a long time, for example, and there's, the prognosis is that the illness will continue, and it's pretty serious chronic stuff. And, we talked about how sometimes we question, we question our own choices and, oh my God, is this the future? And, what kind of mistake did I make in getting into this relationship and blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. And, how that's normal and in a situation like that, and how just being able to talk openly about it is really important, which is something I never really was able to do. So we covered that. We covered his, marijuana possession charge in, when he was 20 years old. We talked about, our beliefs about personal freedom. We talked about all kinds of cool stuff, and we talked a lot about work too. I always try to figure out a way to tie all those things together, so I can get a clear picture. And I love doing that. I love being in that moment. And if I feel like I'm at my best, and I love continuing to get better at it. And I feel like that's my strength. It's like when I'm doing a mastermind group or I'm on a call like the Masterclass, I feel alive and I feel in my element. And what I've noticed is that as I feel more alive in those moments, it makes me very profoundly aware of how unalive I feel in other moments, So like I find, maybe not unalive, maybe that's, a bit of a strong way to put it, but just how I notice the what's the word, dichotomy, I guess, between those moments when I feel truly alive and those moments when I'm just getting things done. And I am way, way better when I feel truly alive. And so, I'm thinking at work, like, about my team, and I'm so into helping, my team and helping them grow, asking them powerful questions. Like yesterday, we opened up our team meeting with, our positive, appreciative, affirmative question was, what do you love most about coming to work each day? And man, the answers people gave were amazing. They were just absolutely amazing. So I love that. But, some of the other bureaucratic crap I can't freaking stand. So what do I do with that? I don't know. Just keep doing what I'm doing. Keep reflecting. Keep, being really aware of my own strengths and what I'm best at, and try to double down on those and be as effective as possible, because that will create the freedom and opportunity for me to do more of what I love. And I feel like I can do that in this organization. Actually, I can make that happen. It's not going to happen right away. It's going to take work and groundwork and relationships and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like I can get there. So another thing I am thinking about is the summit coming up. So I'm going to St. Louis. I think I said this the other day, and I really want to make a profound impact. And I know I'm going to, but it's always, I always get this way before I do an event like this. Well, I've never done an event. I've never played this role in an event like this, but whenever I do a public speaking, like a speaking engagement, you get yawns when it's like, 4:40 in the morning. But I've never done, a speaking engagement quite like this with this group of people, and doing it, for a group of people that is run by a guy that I consider one of my best friends, like that I care deeply about. So I want to do a great job. And I always get this feeling of anticipation. I used to call it like nervousness, and whatever, maybe it is nervousness. Maybe I need to get better at labeling my own emotions. But, I always get this sense of anticipation and really just wanting to make an impact and really wanting to make the most of an impact and really want to step outside my own comfort zone and try some new things. I think I mentioned this yesterday, like more, Tony Robbins-esque, for example, like really getting the crowd involved and getting them pumped up. And, but it's scary, right? So like it can be scary, but again, looking at it like an experiment, it doesn't have to be. So that feeling in my stomach and that sense of, I don't call it anxiousness, but whatever the word is anticipation for me. And it's a sign that to me that I care deeply about this subject and this group of people, and that I want to make as big an impact as possible. So that's kind of where I'm at today. I don't think I'm going to get to 20 minutes today. I don't really have enough to ramble on about, but what I will say is I'm going to, like, these daily casts will need to stop for the next little bit, because I'm leaving first thing tomorrow, like 5 o'clock in the morning, and driving 12 hours to St. Louis. I'm not going to have access to my whole setup here. So, but I'm really looking forward to the road trip. I'm looking forward to some amazing conversations. I'm looking forward to going to the baseball game tomorrow night, I haven't been to a baseball game in forever. I actually hate baseball, but going with this group of guys is going to be amazing. And so there's so much to look forward to. So I just need to, nail down specifically the flow of the talk I'm giving, be prepared to be fully present and, accounted for, let's say, in this moment, and really, really knock it out of the park. And I will absolutely do that. And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So I actually think I might go back to bed now, but who knows? We'll see. So anyways, thanks everybody. And we will see you when I am back next week. And I should have some intro theme song music next week. So I have an amazing man who's helping me do that, and just feel so grateful for that. So, and I'm really excited to launch the Emotionally Excellent Man podcast, which will be coming up within the next few weeks. I just have a few remaining episodes of the Mental Health Warrior Show to release, and then we'll be starting on the journey of the emotionally excellent man.